It's nice to be able to talk with everyone. And my name's Archon Fung, and I teach politics and democracy. So I look at these things through a democracy lens, and I'm not a health specialist at all, but I obviously care deeply about health. And so I want to just say a couple words about what a healthy civic infrastructure looks like and why it's really important for health. But first, I just wanted to spend a couple seconds on how I think about the relationship between democracy and health. And to me, democracy means, I take it very literally, it means people having power. And so when you see systems or public policies or communities failing to construct an environment in which people are healthy, that to me is a big, big failure of democracy, because it means that people aren't able to exercise the power to keep themselves healthy. And being healthy is one of the most fundamental interests there is. And so when you see a lack of health, to me, that's a big, big kind of red light flashing that says there's a lack of democracy going on here, right? And it's a kind of invitation to diagnose what the lack of democracy is and how to fix it, so that people can have better health, among other things. And so I think a first big step on fixing a broken democracy when health is in jeopardy is by trying to create a more healthy civic infrastructure. And so I think of a healthy civic infrastructure as having at least these kind of four elements. And I just kind of want to go through them kind of quickly and give you a couple of health examples of each. The first element of a healthy civic infrastructure is that people are engaged. They're doing stuff about their health. They're taking care of each other. They're taking care of themselves. They're also advocating. So engagement is the first quality of a healthy civic, robust civic infrastructure. A second quality is equity. And so, a big topic, very appropriately, of these discussions that we're having is health equity and health inequity. And so one feature of a healthy civic infrastructure is equity within society, right? And there's a lot of places that are unequal in terms of how robust their civic infrastructure is. A third quality is voice, and then finally a fourth quality is knowledge, and producing knowledge. And so I was thinking about a couple of different examples that figure big in my mind. One is the Flint water crisis, which I with some other people developed a teaching case on and had really robust discussions in the course of doing that with lots of students and faculty. And the other, of course, everybody's been thinking about lately is the COVID pandemic. And I hear just some examples of how each of those four qualities of civic infrastructure is important in those two cases, right? So engagement in the Flint water crisis was especially important in the advocacy domain. There are community activists for a long time in advocating for trying to blow the whistle on polluted water, lead contaminated water, and things got a little bit better in Flint eventually because of their advocacy efforts. It would have gotten better a lot quicker if the civic infrastructure and the resources for that civic infrastructure had been more robust from the outset. The COVID response, just think about how important the quality of our civic infrastructure has been to the COVID response. If I had gone, I asked think about 18 months ago, if you had said, okay, there's a big pandemic coming and how communities do will be hugely dependent on whether people can shut down their lives for basically 6 months to 14 months and just stop doing everything. And I would have thought, kind of going forward, there's no way societies and communities are strong enough to do that. We'll just be like plowed over. And it turns out we had these resources, right, in order to do that. So that's really, really important. So I'm going to talk now just a little bit about voice and then knowledge. And voice in the Flint water crisis case is about who gets listened to and who doesn't. And in a healthy civic infrastructure, one thing about it is it's capable, all sorts of voices are capable of making themselves heard and being listened to. And in the one tragic feature of the Flint water crisis is that residents and community advocates were for months and months saying, we're getting sick, this water is not clean. But many other people, a lot of government officials at all sorts of levels were saying, yeah, it's clean, it's not contaminated, what are you talking about? And so that's a failure of civic infrastructure, and that there were lots of voices, some of them trying to produce this important knowledge, but they weren't equally heard. And then we'll have hopefully some time to talk about the equity dimensions and some of the knowledge producing dimensions in the Q&A, but I just wanted to stress those 4 qualities. Thank you.